I don't care how good of a driver you are, there's one thing that'll happen to all of us at least once in life, whether you drive a truck or a car. And that one thing is going to be curb damage, and replacing a wheel or having a professional fix curb damage can cost you hundreds of dollars. So in today's video, I'm just going to show you how to fix it yourself. As far as fixing curb rash goes, the first thing you need to do is assess the damage to be able to determine what you're going to actually need to be able to fix the curb rash. Now, I have one of my drift spares here today, and I know you wouldn't normally see this on a classic truck, but this wheel has a good bit of curb damage to it, so it'll be perfect for today's video. Now, these wheels are super beat, like so beat that I feel kind of dumb for fixing the rash on them, but it's a good example for today's video. Now, the reason that these things are so beat is because I've dirt dropped my drift car a million times at track, so that's why they look like this. But if you have a wheel like this with a polished lip, then follow along for all these steps because we'll be able to show you how to repair these lips. Basically, we're going to knock down all the rough metal around this lip, sand it a little bit, and then hit it with a quick polish so it matches the rest of the lip. But if you have a painted wheel, then your process is going to be slightly different. You're still going to knock back all that rough metal, but you're obviously going to have to paint and then clear coat the wheel if your wheel is painted. Now, as far as everything that I'm going to be using today, I have a die grinder here with us with an 80 grit disc on it and a 120 grit disc. And then I also have some sandpaper that ranges from 320 grit all the way up to 1000. And then after that, I'll use some Mothers or some Neverdull, basically just to polish up the lip to give it its shine again. But before we start working on the wheel, one thing I do want to mention, if you're able to actually get the tire dismounted before doing this whole process, definitely do so. It'll make your life a little bit easier. I unfortunately was not able to do that in time, but we'll still make it work and we'll still have a good final product. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on repairing this curb rash. Now, what I went ahead and did is I just put some tape around the tire here and a little bit on the inner part of the lip. And that's just so I don't end up hitting the tire too much or hitting the part of the lip that isn't bad and end up making more work for myself. Now, as far as starting off with sandpaper, basically you just kind of want to see how bad the damage is and feel how bad the damage is. So if I rub my finger along here, I can actually feel all the indents from the curb rash. Now, with that being said, since I can feel that and it's pretty deep on a lot of these, that's why I'm going to start off with 120. Now, if you just have some light scratches, you definitely don't have to start off on 120. You can start off on a higher grit, but for this wheel, that's what we're going to end up doing. So let's get after it. So we're basically finished with the 120 grit, and that was basically just to knock down all that rough metal. Now, if you put your finger across this, it's nice and smooth. You don't have really any low spots or anything like that. Now, you saw me probably hit the tire once or twice. Obviously, try not to do that at home. I don't really care about these wheels or tires because they're just my drift spares, but I'm sure that you guys care about yours at home, the ones that you're fixing. So again, just try to be careful, and if you can, dismount the tire because that's what can end up happening. Now, what we're going to end up doing from here is we're actually going to step this up to a 320 and then just start working our way up from there. Well, I'm all wrapped up the 320 here, and as you can see, it's starting to look pretty good. And if you're wondering when to stop after the 320, basically you just want to get all the sanding marks out from the 120 until it's nice and smooth, and then you can work up to the 400, and then the 6, and then the 8. After we do the 800, we're going to work our way up to 1000, but we are going to use water and actually wet sand with 1000 grit, and that'll start to give us a really nice smooth finish. And then from there, we'll start polishing. But let's just get back to sanding. All right, so we're all finished up with the 400. It's now time to step it up to the 600 grit and, well, get back to sanding. Well, we're all done with the 600. It's time to move on to the 800. And if you're at this step with me, you'll notice that the lip is really starting to look smooth. We don't really have any sanding marks in it, and that's exactly what you want. So let's go ahead and finish this off with the 800, and then we'll do a wet sand 1000. And then, like I said, we'll polish after that. So we're all done with the 800. It's now time to wet sand with our 1000 grit. And at this point, as you can see, the lip is starting to look really good. It's super smooth. We don't have any sanding marks in it. And you can actually see that the shine is already starting to come back. But after we polish it, it'll be fully back and ready to go. All right, so I'm now done with the wet sand on the 1000 grit. And as you can see, the lip is actually starting to have some shine to it. So once we polish it, it'll fully bring it back. But now at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually peel back all this blue tape. I got some water with some soap mixed into it, spray it down, wipe it down, get it nice and clean, and then we can start our polishing. Let's pull all this back. All right, now that everything is cleaned up, we can go ahead and start our polishing. And again, I just want to point this out. You can really see how the lip is already starting to bring back its clarity and its shine just from the wet sanding. But like I said, the polishing will really bring back its shine here. So let's go ahead and knock that out. I'm actually pretty excited to see the final product here. I'm just using some Never Dull here, but you can use whatever polisher you prefer. And I actually am just going to hand polish this, but if you want to, put a buffing wheel on the end of a drill, you could also do that as well. All right, that should be pretty good. Now we're just going to wipe it off with a clean rag. And as you can see, that lip is looking pretty good actually. I didn't expect it to come out this well, but wow, that looks really good. Now obviously I could have, got the inside of the lip here and really made that look a lot better, but again, these are drift spares. I really do not care about these wheels at all. So this is way better than what it used to be. All right, so we're all wrapped up here, and if you followed along for every step, then your lips are probably looking as good as this. Now, I know I only did one spot of the wheel, but that was because it made it a little bit easier so you could actually see the other curbage to the nice clean lip there. Now, I'm gonna say I was not expecting this lip to actually turn out this good. I mean, it was pretty beat in the beginning, but after all that hard work, I mean, it looks almost brand new again in that section. Now, in some polished wheels, they will have a clear coat over them from the factory, so you can end up applying some clear coat after you're done with it. But like I said, these wheels are just some drift spares. They're gonna get beat. That spot that looks really nice isn't gonna look so nice after the first event that I go to with it. So I'm not too worried about adding the clear. This honestly looks amazing just as it is. Now, if you followed along for all these steps and your wheel came out this good, let me know down in the comment section below. Or if you have another process to fix curb rash, also let us know too. I'm always down to hear other processes. Now, it is time to drop a gear and disappear. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you need any classic truck parts, just click the link down below in the description. We'll see you next time.